told the delegates about my support over the years for the party and party members across all levels, and how I intend to deepen party relations going forward. I also outlined to the delegates about how a Bawumia flag bearership will give the MPP a new branding that will demonstrate clearly that the MPP is an inclusive party for all Ghanaians, whether you are a Dagomba, Ewe, Ga, Krobo, Kwewu, Ashanti, Brong, Bono, Kusasi, Gonja, Frafra, Wasa, or Inzima. My flag bearership, I believe, will also neutralize and put paid to many of the NDC propaganda against the MPP. Throughout the process, I've come to know the party people even better. In fact, I believe, because I've been at this for over 15 years now, since 2008, I've been dealing with the party grassroots for a very long time. And many people don't actually appreciate that I have been campaigning in constituencies, sleeping in constituencies for the last 15 years. I'm very well known. I've been dealing with the grassroots, solving their problems for over 15 years, even when we were in opposition. And so there is a closeness that I have to the grassroots that many of my competitors don't have. You get to a place and someone will bring you a picture you took in 2008 and tell you this is us together and all of that. So I have this affinity with the grassroots of the party, and basically this is one of the reasons why I believe that I am more of a grassroots candidate than an establishment candidate. And that will come through, I believe, on Saturday. I think that is one thing we should look out for, because about over 98% of the delegates are the grassroots. These are the electoral area coordinators and polling station executives. So the election is really going to be a simple test of what the grassroots thinks about all the candidates. And I believe that my relationship with the grassroots over the years, this has been a 15-year relationship. We've gone through ups and downs in the party, but the bottom line is that I believe I'm more popular with the grassroots than with the establishment. And that I want to see come through on Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many fond memories of this journey that will go a long way to deepen the respect, love, and harmony between me and the people of our party. Having put up a spirited campaign backed by a dedicated team of brilliant and hardworking young men and women across the country, I have nothing but absolute confidence, inshallah, that I will be victorious on Saturday, November 4th. And my victory will be a victory for the MPP. After this, I will shortly, through the media, that is after November the 4th, I'll shortly through the media outline my vision and plans that I have to better the lives of all of us in Ghana. Today, this informal meeting is to allow me to thank you, the media, over a few drinks and bread, and to seek your active engagement from Saturday and beyond. I intend to actively engage you from Saturday and beyond. We collectively have a shared responsibility to guide and shape the politics of this country and steer it to a safer land. You know what you do best and the ethical considerations that ought not to be lost sight of. As we inform, educate, entertain, we should be guided by the principles of seeking and upholding the truth and fact and verify content. I'm certain if each one of us does this, that's what is expected of us, we can together build this country. Permit me to convey through you my sincerest thanks to the MPP delegates for the love with which they received me in their constituencies. I wish to assure them that this is one step to our victory in 2024, and we will come out united and stronger for the task ahead. I thank you once again, friends, ladies and gentlemen from the media, for spending this part of the afternoon with me. God bless us all and bless our nation, Ghana. And welcome to my home, and please, let's begin the interactions. Thank you all very, very much. I'd like to welcome you all. Thank you all very, very much. I'd like to welcome you all, friends from the media, to my official residence, and to thank you all for taking the time off.
All right, welcome back. Dr. Gideon Bwaku is in the studio, and he will be telling us a lot more about the Bawumia campaign. Our responsibility tonight is, as I said to you earlier, is to look into the historical perspectives and try and understand the historical connection of between what is more likely to happen on Saturday, the connection between the historical events, occurrences, analysis, let me say it again, the nexus between historical events and occurrences in the MPP since 1992, the nexus between that and what is going to happen on Saturday with the Bawumia contest. Video is ready? Yeah, what's going to happen on Saturday with the Bawumia contest is what I'm going to share with you, viewers. I hope you enjoy it, but please pay attention because I'm going deep into the historical sequence and bringing it to you to show you why what will happen on Saturday will happen. and I've titled it, it's my own article. It's been a long time since I wrote an article. I thought about doing a documentary, but it's been a very long time since I wrote an article in graphic or all that. I used to do that quite a bit. So I decided, let me do another article. I've shared it with some of my media friends in Graphic and Daily Guide. They are considering it, so they may publish it tomorrow, I don't know. But I sent it to them. They said they'll consider it. All right, it will also be on our Facebook page anyway. So those of you who might like to read the details, if you're a student, you might need that. I titled the article, Akufo-Addo's Philosophy Puts Bawumia on the Cusp of a Sensational Victory to Unite All the Traditions Since the UGCC. I'm going to walk you through, viewers, a long article, but I'm going to do it very quickly so that we can. I begin from when Akufo-Addo was born. I bring it to the UGCC era, to the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 92, 96, and I show you why there's a certain strand of philosophy that is roaming through all the epochal historical events that is bringing us to this conclusion where the MPP is most likely to elect Dr. Bawumia by a landslide on Saturday. I'll show you why. Why is this so? It's Akufo-Addo's philosophy. We'll come to that in a minute. But let's look at Dr. Bawumia's final rally in Bolgatanga. It was massive.
Are we ready for an honest leader? Are we ready for a humble leader? For a leader who will take us to victory, inshallah. Upper East, are we ready to win the 2024 election? I want Upper East to send a strong signal. I want Upper East to send a strong signal. And the signal is that it is... We are born to save Ghana. We are born to save Ghana.
I want is that I want Dr. Mahmoud
Why I am voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is because he has the political experience, the election experience to win the 2024 election. There are 4 people who are contesting. Amongst the 4 of us, it's I who have the experience of presidential elections in Ghana. If we want to break the 8, then on November 4th, the striker that you should put there to score the goal is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. November 4th, come out peacefully, quietly, and vote number 2. Too sure. Salaam alaikum. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We have decided to follow Bawumia.
We have decided to follow Bawumia. No turning back. No turning back.
Hey, Samira Bawumia. Big things are going to happen in this country. Is John Mahama ready for this campaign? Is John Mahama ready? John Mahama better be ready. This is going to be a ferocious campaign. Did you see here? I have decided to follow back. This is the first time I'm seeing this video. But that is what to expect of Samira. We all know that's going to be a ferocious campaign. Let's come back to Saturday. It appears from everything that we know, from everything that every media house is gathering, it appears that Dr. Bawumia is heading for a landslide victory in the Saturday contest. How is this going to happen? If it will happen, this is what we think. Okay, let's go. Let's get to the page 1 of the article. So we are saying that where the MPP is today, it's been orchestrated, it's been designed. Dr. Bawumia's candidature and his impressive candidature to become a front runner in this election has been designed by a hand and a few people who have used intelligent means to roam through the party and develop certain strands of political philosophy that was going to all the time produce a kind of Dr. Bawumia at the end of the Akufo-Addo tenure. It was almost certain that with the things that had been happening in the MPP, particularly from 2007, it was looking like Akufo-Addo was developing a party to produce a philosophy. That philosophy was going to produce something like Dr. Bawumia's meteoric rise in politics, and now almost certainly to become the MPP's flag bearer. Let's see where that philosophy was born, how it was developed, who was part of it, who was not part of it, who was opposed to it, who fought it, who succeeded, who didn't succeed. Here's the story. It's a bit of a long article, I have to say. When I first sent it to my friends at the Graphic Today, the first thing they said, "Oh, but Paul, this is too long." I said, "Yeah, I know, but you see what you can do about it." All right, so Akufo-Addo's philosophy has put Bawumia on the cusp of a sensational victory that could unite all the traditions of the UGCC. This article begins as follows. Born in 1944 into a family whose dominant careers were law and politics and public service, President Akufo-Addo was destined to become either a lawyer, a public servant, or a politician, or in fact all three of them. Akufo-Addo is reported to have described the events during and those immediately after the famous riots of 28 February 1948 in Osu and Accra as his political baptism. He was only 4 years old, but remembers the tremendous movement of humans in a ferocious manner as to show anger and resentment towards the colonial authority of the day. Consequently, the suspected leaders of the riots were arrested, save Ni Kwabena Boni, the Osuala Tamanche. 5 lawyers and their general secretary, named Kwame Nkrumah, were arrested and detained. Led by J.B. Dankwa, the group became famed as the Big Six, whose images adorn the national currency. That was Akufo-Addo's political baptism. 3 of the Big Six were his direct relatives. Dankwa was a grand-uncle, William Oforiatta was his direct uncle, and Edward Akufo-Addo was his father. Here are the photographs of the Big Six and Ni Kwabena Boni. So here's Ni Kwabena Boni, viewers. If you can put it for them to see. Here's Ni Kwabena Boni. Ni Kwabena Boni is on the extreme left of the photograph, and he is the Osuala Tamanche. Ni Kwabena Boni himself was actually the key leader of the rows that occurred on 24th February, and I don't want to go to the background, I don't want to spend too much time. Soldiers had come from Second World War, they were concerned about their salary, so they routed. It was believed that Dr. Dankwa had been the brain behind that. Kwame Nkrumah and the UGCC leaders had organized these persons. Ni Kwabena Boni was the front runner, but he escaped when they were looking for them. Kwame Nkrumah was arrested, Dankwa was arrested, Willie Oforiatta was arrested, Edward Akufo-Addo, who was the lawyer of the group, was also arrested, including the photograph you don't have here, Obechebi Lamte. Okay, let's move on with the article. He, Nana Akufo-Addo, had sufficient acquaintance with the other 3, especially Obechebi Lamte, whose son, Otanka, later known as Jacob Obechebi Lamte, was also 4 years old and became Akufo-Addo's first best friend at the age of 4 as they became playmates. Akufo-Addo then saw and must have been disturbed by the rancorous politics of the pre- and post-independence era, and being raised in a political home, as it were, by his father, Addo, as he was known, then must have been bombarded with daily stories depicting the policy decadence in Ghana. Here is Obechebi Lamte, the father, and Obechebi Lamte, the son. So on the left is Obechebi Lamte, Jake Obechebi Lamte's legendary father. He was a barrister in Accra and a lawyer and a member of the UGCC. He was also arrested, and then also Jacob Obechebi Lamte. The other member of the UGCC that we have not, the other Big Six is Ako Ajay, who was also a member of the UGCC and became an interior minister for Kwame Nkrumah in the CPP, was later sacked because of a story that is part of our story. We'll get there. So here is Jacob Obechebi Lamte and his father. Jacob Obechebi Lamte and his late father, both of them resting in eternal peace. We'll meet them on the final day of the resurrection. Amen. All right. He, Akufo-Addo, must have had daily theses against the abuse of human rights and some of the objections to the provisions of the 1960 Constitution. The point the article is making at this stage is that Akufo-Addo, growing up in a home like that, must have heard some of these things. Let's move on. It was in those circumstances of his upbringing that the young Akufo-Addo observed the imprisonment of his uncle Dankwa under the PDA and the dismissal of his father as a Supreme Court judge by the president for the ruling in the Terry Adama Field trial. These two occurrences developed the human rights activism in the young Nana Addo, and it began to form as an essential part of his political philosophy. This is Terry Adamafio. He was accused of staging a coup. He was a minister for Nkrumah, and he was accused of being involved in the Kolungugu bombing one way or the other. Akwaje, who was the interior minister, was also arrested by Nkrumah for this matter. They went to court. Akufo-Addo was one of the judges and decided that there's no basis and evidence to prosecute them for treason. So they were released. Upon that, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, angered by the ruling, sacked Akufo-Addo as chief justice, and two others, Sekou Kosa and somebody else, sacked them. But that's not our story tonight. We're just building a historical analysis, and we'll have to quickly get into the meat of what we are trying to say. This is about Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. But here is Terry Adamafio. May he rest in eternal peace. Next was the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah's regime and the restoration of parliamentary democracy. By this time, Addo was in the university and had more grounded philosophy, having met many young ideologues at Legon campus, some of them being Professor Modibo Okran, who was later nominated by Akufo-Addo for the position of Supreme Court Justice during the Kufuor era. Also, Professor Fiajo, Chachu Chikata, Akila Pasoya, and the left-wingers of the day. The first ideological strand that seemed to have taken firm roots was the Human Rights Foundation in Akufo-Addo's mind. These were some of the contemporaries that Akufo-Addo met at university that were making an argument that they helped to sort of solidify his ideological positioning and strand. It was Professor Modibo Okran, who later became a Supreme Court judge, nominated by Akufo-Addo on the left side of your screen. Chachu Chikata, one of Akufo-Addo's friends growing up. Akila Pasoya, who is also a lawyer. Well, he holds a law degree and became the vice chancellor of the University of Ghana. These were the left-wing ideologues in the university in the 1960s that Akufo-Addo associated with, including also, whose photograph is not here, Dr. Kojo Afari-Jan, who was electoral commissioner at the time, later became electoral commissioner until 2016 or 2014 or so. So we are trying to build a philosophy and trying to explain to you why Saturday is going to happen the way it will happen. All right. But Addo must have observed with great disappointment the furious and unhealthy attitudes manifested by the likes of Joe Appiah, who were determined to divide the UP tradition for their own parochial interest. Try as they did, they could not convince Appiah, a staunch member of the tradition, to accept Bawumia as the leader. Appiah felt that he could lead too. In the end, all the elders, including Darocha and most likely Akufo-Addo's father, gave up. Appiah left and formed his own party. Bawumia won a landslide. Appiah was vanquished and became a pariah to the UP tradition. Now, this was one of the early political events that also spoke to Akufo-Addo's mind, young mind, and which then developed his philosophy one way or the other. So at this stage in his life, going through the Nkrumah situation and all of that, he had developed a certain sense of human rights. He wanted to be a human rights person. He thought human rights was very important because he looked at the human rights situation in Ghana and it was that bad. And that's where I believe not just him, but especially him, people of his generation began to form the idea that we need a human rights situation. And then came 1969. Nkrumah is out of the country. The UP tradition are going to win the election. Bawumia has been appointed. And then comes one man called Joe Appiah, a very intelligent man, and we discussed this here before. Appiah says, I don't want Bawumia to be the leader. Everyone tells him that you can contest for the leadership. He says, I won't contest. I don't want Bawumia to be there. I'm going to form my own party. Appiah had been an important part of the UP caucus in Ashanti, and he had held a seat for the NLM in Ashanti, and now he says, I don't want to be part of that. Akufo-Addo saw that, and we are saying that also sort of gave him a certain impression about what is wrong and what is right with organizing party for unity. Let's move on. So these are the characters we just described. This is Joe Appiah. Appiah is the one who said he's not interested in Bawumia's leadership, even though he was a key member of the party. He doesn't want Bawumia to be leader of the party. He will step out and form his own party. He formed his own party called Ababase. And Bawumia remained, he won. Darocha was the general secretary of the party, who did a lot of work to get Appiah to change his mind in 1969. Appiah will not change his mind. And that event, this single event, given where Akufo-Addo was coming from, given his family background, his father was involved in the negotiation. He's a young man who has finished university. By this time, he's working. So he understands what is happening. He's been born in 1944 from the riots. He's seen the Nkrumah era. He's seen his uncle go to jail and die. He's seen his father being dismissed by the president. So he understands that the 1960 constitution is problematic. Now he sees a new constitution coming. All his big uncles who come to his house, Victor Usu and everybody, are talking about a new constitution. And it looks like there's a lot of excitement. But then the unity is challenged because Appiah says, I'm not interested. And I think Akufo-Addo noticed that and he made an impression on him, which we will see that later in his life, he showed it. Let's move on. Nana Addo must have felt terrible about that. And that incident began to mushroom into the strand of his philosophy, i.e., unity of the group, unity of purpose, and a broad-based approach to leadership. We believe that the Joe Appiah incident developed this second strand of Akufo-Addo's philosophy. And it was the unity of the group, the unity of purpose, and a broad-based approach to leadership. He must have been influenced that unity is very important and that the unity of the group is important. And he must have thought that in choosing leaders, we must have a broad base to choose them, because Appiah was concerned that the processes that chose Buzia, he didn't like it. So we are guessing that all of this began to work on Akufo-Addo's philosophy, which has brought us to where we are. Here is the man Kutu Achampong that we need to talk about a little bit in this story. Kutu became president of Ghana through the coup. Buzia was overthrown. So the Buzia people got overthrown. Akufo-Addo goes abroad. He's working in France for a law firm. And then Achampong is in charge of Ghana. Things begin to degenerate after 1974 into 1975. By 76, it looked very bad. And things were degenerating, especially on the democracy side. On the human rights side, it was also very bad. People like Captain Chikata had been incarcerated and put in prison. Akufo-Addo didn't like that. From his base in France, he communicated with Chachu Chikata, his friend. He told him that my uncle is still in prison, and everybody was talking about somebody in prison, somebody missing. Achampong appeared to be taking the human rights abuse to another level. This was in the middle of the 70s. Again, we're looking at the political philosophy that informed how Akufo-Addo developed his policy. So, meet Kutu Achampong, nice, decent gentleman. Nana Addo was delivered to work alongside former Nkrumahs from the CPP and the Enal group. Nana Addo was delighted, that's the word I'm looking for. Nana Addo was delighted to work alongside former Nkrumahs from the CPP and the NLM and the Enal group, New Alliance of Liberals, Bedema's party, together with people from his own tradition. He enjoyed working with Obeda Samoa, Samoku Jeto, Dr. Agama, Afro Bedema himself, BJ Darocha, Victor Owusu, Peter Ajete, Edubuahin, and of course, one of his longtime mentors, Akwesi Amankwa Efrifa, who actually got Nana Addo excited about this action for democracy. Interesting story. Here it is, viewers. Nana Addo tells the story of where after court in Kumasi one day, he had received a call to trek to Krobo in Mampong Ashanti to see General Afrifa. Okay, pause again. These are the people who were part of the New Alliance of Liberals, the story that part of the movement to remove Achampong, the group that Akufo-Addo enjoyed working with, so that they were going to now take out. And he enjoyed it because this group represented a broad base of politicians, the intelligentsia of the day, Obeda Samoa, Sami Okujeto, Dr. Agama. Afro Bedema was much senior to them. He had been finance minister for Nkrumah, so he was much senior. Afro Bedema was the godfather of all of these three men. Obed, Okujeto, and Agama would all see Bedema as their godfather. Then there was Victor Owusu, Peter Ajete, Victor Owusu is a lawyer, of course, very famous lawyer. Ajete was also a famous lawyer from the Attorney General's Department. Albert Edubuahin was a key professor of the university, professor of history, and he was also quite close to Akwesi Amankwa Efrifa. So this is the group that masterminded the Professionals Association's work. They called it the PMMJ in the mid-70s against Achampong. Many riots occurred in Ghana in those days. This is the group that masterminded it. Akufo-Addo was in the center with Obeda Samoa as joint general secretaries. But I'm telling you the story of how Akufo-Addo got involved is here. So he said that he was in Kumasi when he got a call to go to Mampong to see Akwesi Amankwa Efrifa. Here is how the story unfolds. As history would have it, on that day, Akufo-Addo was in the company of another Akufu, the young and dashing lawyer named Sophia. Of course, later in life, Akufo-Addo will become president, and he will appoint Sophia as Chief Justice. What can we say? The twists and turns of history. So, at the PMFJ, which is what the Afrifa movement was called, Nana Addo became the Joint General Secretary of the group. The protest appeared to have been successful, and democracy was restored. Here is Sophia Akufu, the lady in whose company Akufo-Addo was in the 1975 in Kumasi, when Akufo-Addo got a call that Akwesi Amankwa Efrifa is looking for you. Akufo-Addo was a Sophia Akufu. They had gone to Kumasi to do a case. So together they went to Mampong. It was there that Akwesi Amankwa told Nana Addo that we need to start a new movement to take out this Achampong and have democracy. So she was part of history. As we say, later in life, Akufo-Addo was to appoint her as the Chief Justice. Okay. Then came the bitter pill for Akufo-Addo. His uncle and his mentor were both fighting for the leadership of the party his uncle helped to found. He was devastated and couldn't even make a decision on how to vote. He felt the pain of divisions in politics. So, by the end of the elections of 79, Akufo-Addo's political philosophy had been well formed. It was twofold: an avowed pro-human rights philosophy and a stickler for party unity, plus a broad-based outlook for party leadership. So, viewers, this is where we begin to tell the story. This is how we conclude. Based on the surgery that we have performed on the facts and the data, this is where we conclude that by the end of 79's election, given the life of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you would observe that he had now developed three key political philosophical strands. First one would be that he was a pro-human rights person. That's the first time. That's the first one that developed in him, pro-human rights. And he was also a stickler for party unity. He wanted party unity, very much so. It was always important to him. It was beginning to form part of his political existence. Party unity was always very important for Akufo-Addo. You will see it in later years, how he expresses that. But we are talking here about 1979. And then he was also thinking about a broad-based outlook for the leadership of the party, because he noticed that all of these party difficulties had occurred because some people felt that they were not being allowed to lead the party, and it was thought that it is for another person, it is for somebody, and it's not for another group. He had begun to think those things in 1979 after the conflict between the UNC and the PFP. All right. At the beginning of the 80s, he, Nana Addo, supported the unity talks between the PFP and the UNC. These talks gave birth to a new party called the APP, All People's Party. The APP was to be led by Victor Owusu and to have had Alhaji Mahama Idrisu as his running mate, etc., etc. The APP was poised to win the 1983 elections, but alas, the elections were not to be. J.J. Rawlings and Kojo Chikata showed up, and the rest is history. So this part of the article is talking about something that many people may not be associated with. Ghanaians were preparing for an election in 1983. You know, there was an election in 79. 4 years after that was 83. So Ghanaians were preparing for an election in September 1983. There was going to be an election. For that election, the UP tradition had sorted out their problems. So they had collapsed the PFP of Victor Owusu and collapsed the UNC of William Oforiatta and formed a new party called the All People's Party. It had been accepted and agreed that Victor Owusu be the leader of the new party and Alhaji Mahama Idrisu be his general secretary. So that Akufo-Addo was excited about that because this was bringing the two parties together. Okay. This is Alhaji Mahama Idrisu. This is J.J. Rawlings, and this is Kojo Chikata. We put them because we said in the article that the 83 elections, which would have made Alhaji Mahama Idrisu running mate and perhaps vice president to the All People's Party if they had won the election, didn't happen because J.J. and Kojo Chikata stepped in. They made a coup, and so they pulled down the constitution. But in pulling down their constitution, the potential vice president then became the defense minister. Very interesting history, isn't it? Very, very interesting history. He was going to be vice president if the election had occurred. The two men did a coup. The election didn't occur. They appointed him as the minister for defense, and he became minister for defense, one of the longest serving in Ghana's political history. So this is the real history of Ghana, showing you the history and the actors. Okay, let's move on. Who? Yes. In the early 80s, Akufo-Addo left UV Campbell's law firm to set up his own. Together with his friend Dr. Prempeh, who is currently a chief in Asanteman, they formed Akufo-Addo, Prempeh & Co. One of the distinguishing features of his law firm was that they represented clients for free on all human rights issues. It was a big sacrifice to make, and junior lawyers were not particularly excited by having to go to court for free. But this was the master's philosophy. And as Providence will have it, most of the lawyers from this law firm became some of the best and brightest ever seen from the Ghana Bar Association. The firm has produced as many as 4 attorney generals, the boss himself, Joe Gate, Gloria Ekufu, and the current attorney general, Godfrey Dame. In the 1980s was quiet for politics in Ghana. During the period, Akufo-Addo will spend his time in both England and Ghana. At the grand funeral ceremony organized by the Ghana Bar Association for his father in 1980, the bar president, William Adumwa Bosman, as he then was... let me just pick up the photographs of the attorney generals I mentioned, Joe Gate, Gloria, and Godfrey Dame. Okay, so let me go back to the story. at the grand funeral ceremony organized by the Bar Association for his father in 1980, the Bar president, William Addo Bosman, as he then was, why is it not coming? Okay, they will get, as my screen is, okay, and to the next one. Okay, the Bar president paid glowing tribute to the late Chief Justice, which was Akufo-Addo's father, but emphasized that if what had been seen of his son, Nana Addo, was anything to go by, then the Bar must be ready for a blistering legal career that should hopefully surpass that of the great Edward. To this, there was loud applause. Mr. Bosman prophesied right, and the rest, as they say, is history. By 1991, Professor Albert Edu-Boahen had used university lectures to arouse the desire in Ghana for a return to constitutional rule and a return to the regime of human rights. Upon such pressure, the PNDC agreed to allow party politics to occur from 1992 with a new constitution. The UP tradition had to form again, and this time, unity was key. Once unity was key and the choice was to be broadened, Akufo-Addo was in. This was his philosophy. Let's unite and broaden our base by making leadership accessible to all. So, he supported Edu-Boahen. Then came the loss of the election and the boycott of parliament, which left the opposition with just the courts and the street protest, as well as media, to express their objection to JJ and the NDC. At this time, Akufo-Addo introduced another strand of his philosophy, the clarion call for the independent media and the repeal of the criminal libel law. He set up a newspaper and named it The Statesman, same name as J.B. Danquah's paper in the 1940s. So there emerged a third strand in political philosophy of Akufo-Addo: human rights, broad-based politics, and independent media. The years of opposition from 1993 to 1996 were very eventful. A new group called the Alliance for Change emerged. It became a very formidable group of young people who staged what is yet the biggest demonstration ever. I'm referring to the Kumi Preko demonstrations. The success of the group and the caliber of their leaders made them a clear choice for political mobilization and party politics. The situation came with huge temptations. The MPP seemed to be struggling with youth mobilization, but was better than the CPP. It was felt that the AFC could usurp the political space of both parties to create a new movement to supplant both traditions to win power for the movement, to win power for the moment. This thought was very tempting, and it became even more pronounced when the AFC's choice of Kwame Pianim as the MPP's candidate was undermined by the Supreme Court's ruling disqualifying Mr. Pianim from running for president. I need to explain a little bit here what I'm trying to say in this part of the article. Later on, those who have time can read it. It will be all over, so you can read it. But let me explain here what I'm saying. I'm just suggesting that when the Alliance for Change was put together, they were so attractive based on their leaders and their philosophy. They were so attractive, that the people started asking them, the Alliance for Change people, that why don't you form a political party and move on and challenge for the election and win? You have all the important, you have the best of CPP and the best of MPP. Why don't you just come together and form a political party? That was very attractive. And it was tempting for the Alliance leaders, most of them young, none of them 50, none of them even maybe 45. And all of suddenly they are in the front of the nation. There was no social media, but they were very popular figures. They could pull a demonstration and put 100,000 people in the street. For CNN in those days, 1995, the cable news network in America came to cover it and interview their leaders. The BBC came to interview their leaders. That was something. Young men appearing to be leading the nation. Rawlings clearly panicked. Everybody was telling them, forget about this old MPP, they are moribund. Forget about CPP, Alliance for Change. Move on and win the election. Let's see what happened. So this Kwame Pianim. Now, the other factor that I point out is that somehow, because of his youthful nature and his mobilizing skill and his general affability, Kwame Pianim had appealed to the youth significantly. And he was sort of the alliance candidate for the MPP contest. You know, the MPP contest was coming on. Professor Edu-Boahen was running. Kwame Safo-Edu was running. J.A. Kufuor was running. And Kwame Pianim was encouraged by the AFC to enter the race. And he did. As soon as Kwame Pianim entered the race, the ratings showed that Kwame Pianim had taken a straightforward lead and was going to win the MPP contest. However, there was something hanging over Kwame Pianim's head. It was this issue of he having attempted a coup against Rawlings and being jailed. If you have attempted a coup and you have been jailed, you do not qualify to be president. Kwame Pinim's lawyers made the argument strenuously and perhaps correctly that the coup that he attempted was against an illegal regime. It becomes a bit more detailed in law when we are talking about the Kelsonite theory and all of that. I'm not going to go there tonight. But the Kelsonite theory sort of supported the view that Kwame Pianim was guilty of the offense. So unfortunately, the Supreme Court ruled against him, so he couldn't contest. That angered the alliance leaders, particularly Reku Brobe, Major Kwashigan, Nyahota Maklo. They were Kwame Pianim people. And if Kwame Pianim had won, they wouldn't have thought about breaking away. They would have supported Kwame Pianim. But now Kwame Pianim was disqualified. He couldn't even participate in the MPP Congress anymore. What happened thereafter? Let's see. Elements in the AFC who really wanted to break away to form a new party included Charles Reku Brobe, Kojo Poku, Kakraba Cromwell, and Kwesi Pratt Jr., and to some extent, Tony Akoto Ampao. But the most popular figure among the leadership of the AFC was the human rights lawyer, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who was also the group spokesperson as appointed by Nyahota Maklo to do so. And his support was needed, Nana Addo's support was needed for this breakaway effort. The MPP contest had proceeded without Kwame Pianim, and it had elected John Kufuor for the first time to lead the party. The groundswell of talk about the breakaway occasioned an alliance between the CPP, then known as the PCP, and the NPP. Nana Addo was very much against the breakaway of the alliance. He stood for the unity of the NPP. So this is what happened. Now, because of the pressure on the system, that the Alliance for Change was ready for power and ready to run a campaign, and that the NPP and the CPP were unattractive, and so they were not even going to be able to raise money for the campaign, the CPP and the NPP were boxed into trying to show that they could be attractive by merging together for the purpose of the election. The point was thought that both of them have half a leg. If you don't put the legs together, you're not going to be able to defeat J.J. Rawlings. He's been in power as a coup leader. He's holding a gun. You guys need to be strong. Otherwise, the Alliance for Change is better. So that pressure brought the CPP and the NPP together. For the first time in history, the most unlikely event occurred. The wildest political enemies now formed a party together in 1996 and had John Kufuor as the leader and Konstantin Aka as the deputy. Aka, in fact, was also the sitting vice president. A lot can be said about that, but not tonight. Let me finish it off. Okay, so the 1996 election was fought and Kufuor lost. JJ was elected. There were other elements in the AFC leadership, like Kweku Bakun, who felt, same as Akufo-Addo, that alliance should not supplant the regular political parties. It is said that Mr. Bakun had a real admiration for Professor Dubois and seemed to have transferred same to John Kufuor after Kufuor had become the candidate. Akufo-Addo was given pressure by the youth to challenge Kufuor for the MPP mandate for election 2000 in 1998. Now, at this stage, the election is lost and the Alliance for Change does not really succeed. They are not able to form a new party. The election comes through and then some of the alliance members become members of parliament, like Nana Akufo-Addo became a member of parliament. Kwesi Pratt Jr. ran for parliament as the alliance candidate, but he didn't succeed. Isikwe won the election in that constituency, and Isikwe became a member. Otherwise, Kwesi Pratt would have been in the 1997 parliament. I say that for me, personally, as a young man observing those things, it was a personal regret for me. Later on, I met Isikwe and I fell in love with him. Very nice man. But it was a personal regret for most of us that Kwesi Pratt Jr. did not get into parliament in 1997 because Nana Akufo-Addo got into parliament. We were terribly excited. Apreku got into parliament. We were excited. Osafo Mafo got into parliament. It was delightful. It would have been complete if Kwesi Pratt Jr. was in that second parliament or the Fourth Republic. It would have been a total delight. It didn't happen. Kwesi didn't make it. And so the story continues. Akufo-Addo was given pressure by the youth. So after this 1996 event, the NPP decided that they will now select their candidates 2 years before the election when they are in opposition. So this was 1997 and 1998. Immediately the next year was the time for the NPP to do the selection. The event was put in October. J. Kufuor was the incumbent. Pressure came on Akufo-Addo. You need to challenge Kufuor. The young people are with you. You need to challenge Kufuor because Akufo-Addo was extremely popular among the youth in those days. I've not seen yet of the politics of the generations another person who is so popular with the youth, especially both youth, both educated and uneducated youth. Akufo-Addo carried it in those days. Maybe you were not there, so you will not understand. But we'll get there. Okay, here are the characters the people that I talked about. No, this Kojo Poku, but I think I'm referring to Kweku Poku. This Kojo Poku who is running for president, not him. Yes, Charles Rekubrobe, correct. Kakraba Cromwell, we don't have his photograph. Kwesi Pratt Jr., Akoto Ampao, Nyautamaklo, and J. Kufuor. J. Kufuor was the outsider. These other people were members of the Alliance for Change. But as I said before, you don't have Kweku Baako here, do you? Okay, you don't have it. Maybe they have it elsewhere. All right. Yeah. So you have Kweku Baako here as well. Also, a very important member of the Alliance. All right. Now, I didn't finish that side. Okay. Akufo-Addo was given pressure by the youth. So people told Akufo-Addo, you should contest. I mean, and at that time, I was in level 200, I believe, in Legon. We were all very excited by Akufo-Addo, and I'll explain to you what happens when I mention it. So this writer, referring to myself, is one of the young people who organized a bus from the University of Ghana to attend the Congress in Sunyani and offer Nana Addo the high morale, as we called it then. So were many other youth from different walks of life. So we were in level 200. How old were we at the time? 21, something like that. We put a bus in front of Commonwealth. It was paid for by Yaokwachi. May he rest in peace. Some people who were, they went to the Kwafo Hall place, the thing that Rekubrobe had. There's a place in the Kwafo Hall that was owned by Rekubrobe. I think it's still there. I don't know whether he still owns it. Lifeline or something like that, yeah. And at Lifeline, they told the Commonwealth boys to come and meet them. The Yaokwachi was there, and then he gave them money for the bus. So the bus was put in Commonwealth, and we all sat in and we went high morale, chanting Akufo-Addo slogans. We all went to Sunyani to go and support the man who was the man of the moment. So that was in 1998, by the way. All right, let's move on. We all, the youth, met with the candidates, and that was exciting. I mean, once we got there from Legon, there was another group from Kivas that had come. There was another group, they said they were from Sunyani Pole. They were all young people coming there to support Akufo-Addo. He didn't know them, he doesn't know us, he didn't organize it. We just want to go and support Nana Akufo-Addo. So he came out of the Usbet Hotel and he addressed us. Okay, we all, the young, met with the candidates, Nana Akufo-Addo. He addressed us in the company of General Nunu Mensah, who was at the time his campaign manager. And that's very important. Nana Addo, that day, I remember, that's how I got to know Brigadier Nunu Mensah. And since then, we had a relationship because I went to him after the thing. I said that my name is Paul and I'm a soldier bar, and my father was in Burma camp. He said, who's your father? I met. She said, oh, we started talking. So from that time, Nunu Mensah and I have been talking all the time, from that day, 1998. And Akufo-Addo addressed us in the company of Nunu Mensah, Kwabena Japan, and Stanley Adri Blankson. Okay, I'll come to the video in a minute. Wait, I'll come to the video in a minute. All right. So the candidates told us, Akufo-Addo told us, that whatever happens, he is grateful for our support. He told us that win or lose, we should all support the winner to defeat the NDC in the 2000 election because, as he put it, Ghana may collapse under the government of ineptitude if the NDC wins again. I can't forget that event. He stood there, and Addo was there. He was in a political suit of sorts. Nunu Mensah was here. Kwabena Japan was next to him, and Stanley Blankson. And when we started cheering when he started talking, and I remember the use of the word ineptitude, which excited all the students. When you use some word that looks like a big word, you are cheering. When he said the ineptitude, we all went gaga, yeah. But the lesson he gave us was that whatever happens, we should support the cause because the NDC have to be defeated in the year 2000, which was 2 years away. Okay, Kufuor won the contest and Akufo-Addo conceded defeat. In the weeks that followed, many were those who encouraged Akufo-Addo to explore his tremendous popularity with the youth and create his own political movement and run against the MPP for election 2000. I'll come to that pressure on Akufo-Addo after Sunyani, that get out of the party. The party, forget about them. The young people want you, launch your own party, and that a lot of pressure came upon him. Let's see though, and this will not be for those who read the article, just for those who see it on TV. Let's see the concluding part of that Sunyani Congress, 1998. This is a video I've showed to you before. It's a video that's not of very high quality, I'm sorry, but have a look.
31.64% of the total votes cast. Dr. Kofi Kofi had 52 votes, representing 2.62% of the votes cast. Mr. John Wale Kobia had 8 votes, representing 0.44% of the vote cast. John Ajeku Okufuor had
We'll take a break at some point. It's a long story. I'm not sure whether we got this whole video. That's the announcement of the final results. Akufo-Addo spoke, and Kufuor also spoke. We'll get that for you, and then we'll go back to it. Okay. So as I was saying, in the weeks that followed, many were those who encouraged Akufo-Addo to explore his tremendous popularity with the youth and create his own political movement. And in the year 1998, Akufo-Addo was very popular. I've not seen yet any person who was more popular than the popularity of those events. There was no social media. There was not even much private media, but the level of his popularity among students in the universities and among people on the streets and among people in Ashanti Kotoko supporters for whom he was their lawyer, he was really popular, and he had a big political name as well, and his human rights work had endeared him to so many different kinds of people. So when they said to him that you should step out and form your own political party, it carried a lot of weight. Because they said the MPP doesn't know how to campaign, the MPP, they are slow, they are old men, something, Kufuor, they can't do anything, Rawlings will defeat them again, and NDC will win again, and Akufo-Addo, you are the only one who can save this party, step out and let's deal with it. No must say party, no, Kufuor no must say party, no, until die party, a lot of it. Some of you know what I'm talking about, a lot of that, okay. I was a small boy, but I was hearing it every day. Okay. One other leader, and this is the extent to which this pressure was mounted on Akufo-Addo. One other leader of the AFC, Charles Brobe, who was much less popular and less fancied by the youth, however, succumbed to the temptation to form a new party. He, Brobe, left the MPP and founded the United Ghana Movement. This writer, myself, my good self, was at the launch of the UGM in Nsawam in March 2000 as a reporter for Joy FM. At that event, Charles Brobe had an impressive message for the youth, but it was obvious that the loyalty of the youth of the day lay elsewhere. It was with Nana Akufo-Addo, the avowed human rights lawyer and unifier. So that's what happened, in fact. I was there in Nsawam with Charles Brobe when he launched UGM. I was a reporter. I sat in the bus with him. We had a long conversation. Of course, I'd known him very well. We had spoken so many times. And he convinced me that he was going to win. And he convinced me that the MPP don't have what it takes to win an election. And that I should even look at their campaign. Their campaign is dull. It's a sleepy campaign. These were the words of Brobe back in the day. And he took it upon himself to set up a new political party. He picked the pressure that was coming on all of them, which Akufo-Addo didn't succumb to because of his unifier situation. Okay, let's move on and we'll take a break at some point. Kufuor's campaign for the election 2000 took off without much ceremony. It began in the nook and cranny of the hinterland. Sometime during the campaign, Nana Akufo-Addo and his army of youth joined the Kufuor campaign to bring its much-needed boost and impetus required to create a sensation for victory. Victory was achieved, and Kufuor became president. Akufo-Addo became attorney general and later the foreign minister. Now, so Akufo-Addo decided that I'm not going to break away. He rallied all his young people onto the table and said, look, let's follow J. Kufuor. Let's work for J. Kufuor. Let's go to Kufuor's rallies. Let's raise the image of the MPP and we can win this election. This was the first rally where Akufo-Addo first appeared in any of Kufuor's rallies in the year 2000. This was around maybe June or so, sometime around that. Akufo-Addo, Kwabena Japan, all the guys came and just changed the face of the campaign. This rally, I believe, was in the Krobo area where Akufo-Addo talked about Omochakeme. Have a look. So that was Akufo-Addo and his youth. This was the first time he appeared, and that electrified the Kufuor campaign of 2000. Everything changed, and from there, the victory was won. As he said, Kufuor was elected, he became president of Ghana, and Akufo-Addo became attorney general. This is the end of the first part of the story. We continue with December 2007, and that's the second part of the story. From the time Akufo-Addo led the party, what did he do to put the philosophy together in this way, such that today he has stranded the party's philosophy in a way that it will most likely produce Dr. Bawumia as a landslide winner on Saturday. But let's take this. So this is a break. Let's take the text messages and then we'll take a break and we'll come and continue the Akufo-Addo story from 2007. That's where the real meat is. So when we take a break and grab a coffee or something, eat cornflakes or something like that, if you like Hausa cocoa or Fula. You know, Fula, the one you mix nicely, you can take that one as well. All right. Fatih.
Really have faith in Bawumia that he's going to be a good leader. This is coming from Alhaji Yusuf Husseini, and he says, Paul, the victory of Dr. Bawumia has been designed and sealed a long time ago. He is untainted, scandal-free, and not a single corruption allegation against him. He has carried his father's legacy with respect, law-abiding, citizens' discipline, tolerance, great humanity, and above all, respect, and upholds the values of protocol, including diplomacy. All this value propels him above all his competitors. He is a unifier both traditionally and religiously. No wonder he appeals to all grassroots supporters, the middle class, and the upper class in our country and beyond. He is also intellectually connected internationally. NPP cannot afford to lose his chance. Coming from Al-Hassan Jr., he says, I want to reach out to all our cherished delegates across the country and share my thoughts on the upcoming presidential primaries on Saturday. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has proven himself as a capable leader with a strong track record of achievement and dedication to serving the people. His vision for the future aligns with our goals of progress and prosperity. I believe that by voting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we can ensure a brighter future for our community and country as a whole. Let's come together and support his candidacy. Remember, every vote counts. Coming from Paul K. Ando, he says, the First Lady is a serious campaigner. She's gradually becoming dangerous to the NDC more than anyone else. She talks and you get so touched. Coming from Nana Osi, says the wife is powerful. That's very good for women. Please, women, wake up. Coming from Dashtin Koni says, apart from Nana Kunedu and beautiful Rebecca, the next fierce lady who knows how to campaign is beautiful Samira Bawumia. Coming from Safiano Adams, he says, good evening, Paul and your crew. Dr. Bawumia has over the years demonstrated that he is presidential material. He is competent, visionary, and emotionally intelligent. His campaign was issue-driven, packed with realistic policies for party and country. The rest of the other candidates are completely not important variables in the NPP's electoral equation and fortune. Antoinette, what do you have for us?
So back to the political history. Here's what Subway Ahmed has to say. Good evening, Apostle Paul and your team. Please, I'm so enthused with the political journey of Akufo-Addo, which you have taken us through today. I must say that I'm so educated today. However, it appears you have left President J.J. Rawlings' intervention before the 1979 election. You might want to take a look at that. Angelo?
Right, we have from Abduzati watching us from Bolgatanga. He says, the overwhelming response of the Upper East during the next president's visit and rally was unmatched and unprecedented, as if it is a rally of a general election. Excuse me. I'm creating the awareness of the NDC. They should be ready to fight against the DMB on issues, not on unnecessarily based campaigns. The signal was more than strong in the region. Bravo to Her Excellency Hajja Samir Bawumia. And back to you, Paul, unless you want to hear from our sponsors.
Okay, so let's take our first commercial break. We have to do it now. Dr. Gideon Boaku is here. We'll be talking to him. Let's take our short break. We have just about 5 minutes to finish our long story, and then we end and hit the nail on the head. Dr. Gideon Boaku will be coming after the break, after we take the story. So, Mikhail, do you have some LPMs to do? Let's do the LPMs, and then from there we take a straight break. Do 3 of them, maybe. So listen to Mikhail. He's selling something for us.
Yes, I do have something for you. Firstly, from our friends at Nadum Autofix, and they are the biggest car service center here in Ghana, offering a wide range of auto services in real time. We have well-trained staff in various departments such as auto mechanic, auto electrician, straighteners, welders, sprayers, and bodyworks. And Nadum Autofix will offer 24/7 towing services to all our clients, so we can conveniently bring your immovable car to a service center. Now, our services include car diagnostics, mechanical works, auto servicing and oil change, alignment and balancing, bodyworks and spraying, car detailing, steam engine washing, and sale of car batteries. We also have in stock car tires of all rim sizes at a wholesale and retail price, and we free fix when you buy a tire from us. We work 24/7, so you can drive through anytime to work with us. Now, locate us at Dansoman, Asore Danho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC, and the Shell fuel station, and call us on 055-830-8340. Also from our friends at the Makers Electronics Company Limited. Now this is their Blessing Attack promo. Rush to the Makers Electronics Company Limited for up to 67% discount on selected appliances such as Samsung, LG, Moved, Nasco, TCL, Midea, and Toshiba. Quality but affordable with 2 years manufacturer defect warranty. Now visit our showrooms at Taifa Burkina Highway, Amasamanzongo Junction, Oyarefa Tayman Boga Junction, Kaswa New Market, Ashaman Valco Flat, Kumase Ahenema Kokobing, Takrade Ifiekuma number 9 Market, and call us on 055-2222-253 or 055-2222-254. The Makers Electronics Company Limited. We're large and we're in charge with quality but affordable home appliances. And lastly, for now, from our friends at Lifts and Elevators Ghana. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmities stand in the way of enjoying our mansions and homes. Worry no more, because with portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVEs for short, you are sure of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. You may call it a luxury, but it is a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home or at your office. Now visit Lifts and Elevators Ghana at Sakumono for your solutions and free consultations. And call us now on 0200-535-515 or email at elevatorsgh@gmail.com. Back to you, Paul.
So, commercial break now. It's a bit long, so those of you who want to more politics, you can stay on our social media page, Good Evening Ghana Official on Facebook. After the break, we'll finish with the story, and Gideon Boako is here, and we'll announce to you how we will present our live coverage on Saturday, so they can catch us wherever you are, and you can also participate if you know the center. If you are near one of our centers, you can come there. I'll be there, and I'll interview you about who you think is going to win. Break time.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
The patch of Bantama.
Matias.
That's a cycle.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me, Jidi said we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasa.
Kile Hossein. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
And you will see so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ampedu.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sari.
How is business doing?
My business is collapsing.
Why is your business collapsing?
I sold my products and services to my clients on credit, and my debtors are not paying their debts.
Have you heard of Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company operating in all the 16 regions of Ghana?
Not at all.
Mr. Ampedu, all you need to do is to contact them on their customer service line. I recommend Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company to financial institutions, businessmen and businesswomen, other companies, and also individuals. Rosic Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rosic Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
Inside Blackstar Press Limited, grow inside the invective minds, evolving concepts, and the creative trends. The printing press you need now. Witness the beauty, diversity, and natural wonder with our works. inside Black Star Press Limited in association with Lionhead Group of Companies. Call us now on 0200-880-000 for all your print works. Black Star Press Limited, a worldwide reputation for quality printing.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatment like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you now, and couple the makers in
The pneumatological aberration of the Lord revealed unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. Up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. Edike Pharmacy Dining. Oyer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafu Bwachi Hospital Junction. Takradi. Kuma. Number 9 Market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program.
From 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply.
The same got to move.
Customer.
Nada bena minka me papa.
Ucha say.
Mika 10 Ghana.
10 Ghana.
10 Ghana cedis.
Nanu no dia, say na obenya.
10 Ghana cedis no. Me dia. 54,000 Ghana cedis.
54,000.
540 million.
Yeah, the one na me twa me di e skasa.
Yeah. Ene na giga keka dey tena we. Tena wa boki. Draw no na asase no. Mami me volume.
Customer. One of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
The exhibition of the voters register 2023 is here with us now.
Addo Electoral Commission never gave voters register Tony Mambi Ayakwemi. No liake 2020 voters register the 2023 provisional voters register wuji na ke shuoshi ke ha mlinkwemone fata hesamo gbejano toy ke ha district level oshikifon ni ba neke exhibition exercise ne ba no ye polling station se fen kumle ke je 3rd kashi 7th November 2023 lebi metikpawo ke ashigbe na shigmeji ekpa daagbi anyemi ka soso ka ogbe ye register mli momo mo Bodinte ya oshiki fon here ke o voters ID card allow o registration slip ke akwa ke klenklen o gbai o infoniri o hesajin koko me fe ye wo jamlin lo enyo te shoshi me komenesa ke amegbe yon register amlin ete na ole police station dani be ashe ke edwe wa na ajie gbohin agbai ke je register mi no le ake isi etogbejiano ni obanyo tono keko hesanji ni your register mni ye o mobile phone name ewa kra olenoko obada *713*81# koni ofolu prompting ye network efen ko bona fe ni o ka shohe no yo he mayo shiki fun gbin no anyemi ko here wo voters register exhibition exercise name na time wake owo se shihile damo o vote no.
Your vote is your future.
Yeah, let's just finish up and then we will come to him. A lot is happening, isn't it? A lot is happening. Okay, welcome back to the show. Thank you very much. So in December 2007, Akufo-Addo was elected the party's flag bearer. His first choice of running mate was Hajia Alima Mahama. He felt it was time to spread the base to include gender parity. Somehow, members of his party felt it was not the time for issues of gender to take center stage. The choice of running mate being exclusively his, Akufo-Addo could have proceeded and insisted, but holding the political philosophy of unity and reconciliation, he agreed to change the candidate and now name the very youthful banker whose father, this is Hajia Alima by the way, the very youthful banker whose father founded the Northern People's Party that became the party with the highest number of seats within the UP alliance that was led by Buzia. The older Bawumia had continued in politics with the PNDC and the NDC and had risen to become chairman of JJ's Council of State. The announcement of the new choice of running mate received some queries. However, Nana Addo campaigned among important party people to secure their support and backing for his choice. The election 2008 was lost, and in 2012, Nana Addo repeated Bawumia. By the end of 2013 election petition, Bawumia had won the hearts of most MPP youth. He had come to the political, he had come of political age, and he was now a real asset to the party. Akufo-Addo's philosophy was beginning to take roots in the MPP. The MPP gained significant attraction in the Mahama years, that's Dr. Bawumia, gained significant attraction in the Mahama years from 2013 towards 2016. So many high-profile young corporate leaders began to associate with the MPP. Important members of corporate Ghana and high-profile journalists such as George Anda and Kojo Nkrumah joined the MPP and became parliamentary candidates. Young musicians and comedians all rallied behind the MPP under Akufo-Addo's philosophy. George and Kojo Nkrumah over here. By the year 2016, the MPP was fully Akufo-Addo's party, and it was at his... By the year 2016, the MPP was fully Akufo-Addo's party, and the party was at its attractive best. Not even a major upheaval of the boardroom crisis that led to the removal of the chairman and general secretary could undermine the resolve of this youthful army of Akufo-Addo faithfuls. They proceeded to win a record-breaking landslide victory against John Mahama. As soon as power came, Akufo-Addo began, Akufo-Addo began to pursue unity. He had remembered his opponents from 2007 and proceeded to name Alan Kyerematen as a trade minister long before any minister was officially named. The Alan caucus was happy and liked the respect that Akufo-Addo had shown them. That was about making sure that the ship remained united. From the first term, Dr. Bawumia had shown that he will be a great VP, full of innovation and, Alan Kyerematen here, innovation and thought leadership. He managed to win the hearts of most of the youth. Nana Addo was elected for a second term, whilst the MPP took a hit in parliament. Worsening global economic conditions have forced the government into an IMF program, and all that has made the election 2024 a difficult one for the MPP. So, in choosing the new flag bearer, the party's youthful army are guided by the strands of Akufo-Addo's philosophy, which, among other things, is the broad-based philosophy of the party. If that were to be achieved, then Akufo-Addo's philosophy would have been secured 100% in the MPP. For the MPP youth, this is their fight. They are desperate to show a new direction of the party leadership, a new direction of party leadership for the MPP. This is what is giving Bawumia's lead the oomph and the enthusiasm around his campaign. The political astuteness of his wife, Hajia Samira, also makes Bawumia's candidature tremendously attractive. The real big fight will begin next week when Bawumia will be settled in lane 1 to run against former President John Mahama in lane 2. Until then, let's watch this political space. That's Hajia Samira Bawumia, and an article written by Paul Adomotri, host of Good Evening Ghana. Thank you very much for reading my article. Okay, so viewers, that's the end of the article.
In the name of the Almighty God, swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will be faithful.
That I will be faithful.
And true to the Republic of Ghana.
And true to the Republic of Ghana.
That I will at all times preserve.
That I will at all times preserve.
Protect.
Protect.
And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
And I dedicate myself.
I dedicate myself
to the service.
To the service.
And the well-being of the people.
And well-being of the people.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
And to do right.
And to do right.
To all manner of persons.
To all manner of persons.
I further solemnly swear.
I further solemnly swear.
That should I at any time.
That should I at any time.
Break this oath of office.
Break this oath of office.
I shall submit myself.
I shall submit myself
to the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
To the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
And suffer the penalty for it.
And suffer the penalty for it.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So now this is a clear indication that we have a Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. So now Dr. Bawumia has now moved from Vice President-elect to Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. So now, from now, anyone at all who wants to describe or call Dr. Bawumia, he has to call him.
All right, welcome again to the show. Gideon, how tired are you?
Very tired, I must say. It's been tiring, and today too has been very busy.
But the press encounter was very successful from the videos that we have showed. It's very timely.
I think we managed to get something right, you know.
But why is the Vice President so tired? Has he been campaigning heavily?
Yeah, he's been campaigning heavily, as you can see. He's toured the length and breadth of the country, gone to every single constituency, engaged them. And the nature or the approach that we took also made it a bit tight for him because we're using our own bus. You know, the bus does not move faster as compared to the other vehicles that you
Oh, I
have
see.
in
Oh, the
market.
bus campaign. You sustained it?
Yeah, we sustained it.
Oh, your opponents have been saying that you just did the 9-day wonder in Accra.
No,
Oh, that's the bus you've been using throughout.
From constituency to constituency in the hinterland, sometimes the road is bad. You know, you still have to navigate your way through. And so, you know, the shaking the absorbers and all of that. It's not as, you know, durable as you may have in Land Cruisers or other things. And that also prolonged the traveling time. So you have long hours of travel from one constituency to the other, one region to the other. And then he goes to speak, and on his feet, in each constituency, he speaks between 1 hour 15 minutes to 1 hour 25 minutes. And you do all these handshakes and all of that. And it's quite tiring, and the atmosphere is also charged. There's so many people around. And so if you are a leader, you have to go through that. And mind you, he had very limited time to campaign. Vis-a-vis marrying that with government work, sometimes you have to come back to Accra to attend to government businesses and go back to the campaign field to campaign. So it has been very tiring for him. And those of us, even young guys following, you can see our bones are weak, let alone the vice president. So it's been a long journey, but a very short one, because from the time the party made the announcement, unlike the other candidates who started their campaign even before the official announcement by the party, the vice president decided to stick to the rules. Of course, he's the vice president. He cannot be seen to be flouting the rules of the party. And so he waited until the party officially announced. And from the time the party officially announced and he filed his nomination to this point, we had few months, and he had to visit 275 constituencies. So in some regions, we were doing like 5 constituencies a day. Some region, 4 constituencies. The minimum we did was 3 constituencies a day. You can imagine if the vice president has to visit 5 constituencies in a day and speak for averagely 1 hour, 20 minutes in each constituency, have travel time of maybe 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours. You can imagine how tiring it is. So I can understand.
You made a point today that will surprise some of the journalists. He said that he had been engaging with the constituency, the polling station people, for 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that a lot of people have not paid attention to. But it manifests on the ground if you follow the vice president to the campaign trail. Ever since he became the running mate of the party in 2008, he has been in close touch with the party people. In fact, I dare say that of all the 4 aspirants, and even the 10, none of them has grassroots experience engaging party people as Bawumia has across the country. Some of them may be grassroots person because they've been MPs before, but that's within their constituency. Bawumia is the only candidate who has, over the past 16, 15 years, engaged party grassroots in every single constituency. Constituencies in hinterlands that nobody had visited, Bawumia is there. So 2008, he visited every constituency. 2012, he visited every constituency. 2016, every constituency. 2020, every constituency. So if you have such a candidate, his level of connection with the grassroots is so high. And that is why, as he moves around, you can see that the grassroots identify with him. So he does not need to spend time to say, I'm a grassroots person. If you're a grassroots person indeed, the grassroots must see themselves in you, and they must see you as one of them. Those who are not typically the grassroots person are the ones trying to create a false image for themselves that they are a grassroots person. Because everywhere you go to, you have one old or this person having a picture with Bawumia, or you came to our village, this is the house you slept in and all of that. So he's done this over the years, and that is why you see this massive support for the vice president, especially in the hinterlands. And I must tell you, as we move along, you see that Bawumia's biggest support is in the villages. Okay, that's where his biggest support comes from.
Not the big towns.
No.
Not the establishments.
His biggest support. So if the constituencies were supposed to vote electoral area by electoral area, you will see that there will be a lot of 100% in the rural communities compared to the cities. So he has so much support in the hinterlands and the villages. That is also something good for him as he goes into the 2024 election, if he wins, and I know certainly he'll win, that he's going to have so much hold in the hinterlands and the villages. So the vice president has, and is a down-to-earth person.
In Boga, I saw them holding their ID cards.
Yeah.
Their Ghana cards. Is it a part of your campaign?
I tell you, if you see the enthusiasm and the lack.
How do they connect? Are they able to connect? Are people connecting the Ghana cards to economic empowerment?
Well, they see that Bawumia championed the Ghana card. They're happy with it. And in these elections on November 4th, I think it's one of the cards that you can tender to also show your eligibility to vote. And so a lot of people are happy. Those who don't have voters ID card, they have the alternative, they have the Ghana card, and they said that this is the card you gave us. I went to one of the constituencies in Ahafo last week to campaign with the regional first vice and the secretary. And somebody said, look, my voter ID card is lost. Bawumia gave me a Ghana card. I'm going to use it to vote for him. So it's quite interesting. Yeah.
See, so then what are the other aspects of the campaign that he's been telling the people?
Yeah, so basically, the message that has been given to the people, it's first to let the NPP people understand that we are not just going to elect a leader to lead a party. The ultimate goal is to win political power in 2024. And that is a contest among political parties who are, let's say, struggling for votes of the entire Ghanaian people. It's not just NPP people. So first, we need a leader who will be able to unite this country. We are Ghanaians first, before politics came. And so we need to present a candidate that every single Ghanaian, whether it's a Krobo or Ashanti or Fanti or Ewe or whoever, which tribe, whichever society the person is coming from, whichever religion the person belongs to, will see that this candidate is somebody who can foster national unity, can bring all of us together. By his demeanor and persona, he's demonstrated over the years that he has respect for every single tribe or religion in this country. He's not going to talk against one tribe or the other, and he embraces everybody. So he lets the party people understand that. Then too, we also need internal unity, because as he says today, we are a party of different people from different backgrounds with different preferences, but in our differences, we must be seen to be indivisible. And therefore, we need a candidate who will also be able to bridge the gaps. And that is why he says that a lot of people hold the view that there are two gates in the NPP, the factions in the NPP. Some may say Kufuor's faction, the Akufo-Addo's faction. But he says that he is a candidate that bestrides the threshold to both gates, Kufuor's gates and Akufo-Addo's gate, because President Kufuor, who brought him into the governance and the politics and everything, and President Akufo-Addo came in. So Bawumia sees himself as a seed that was discovered and sowed by President Kufuor and watered by Akufo-Addo, that has germinated and blossomed to the Bawumia we see today. So he has what it takes to unite the party. And it's not just what it takes to unite the party. Also, your persona and how you've organized yourself will mean whether or not you'll be able to unite the party. If you follow Bawumia very well throughout this campaign, he's very mindful of the fact that after everything, if he wins, or whoever wins, we need all other persons to join us. And so he's conducted his campaign in a very decorous manner, devoid of rancor, devoid of personal attacks. He has decided not to respond to even the attacks that are directed at him or his family or any other person, because he knows that if he talks against one candidate and he wins, and he needs that candidate to join him, it's going to be difficult. And so he believes that the candidate that we are choosing should be a candidate that the party people can have trust and confidence in him and say that this person can unite us. Beyond the unity, you also need a candidate who can win the elections. That is what we're looking for, because if you don't win elections, all the hopes and aspirations of the party people and the Ghanaian people who are looking up to NPP cannot materialize. But which of the candidates has what it takes to win the elections? Win the elections is two things. First, you need to consolidate your base and make sure that the NPP people who are party people stay in and will not see that because you've elected this person, I'm not going to vote, or there's this kind of apathy or something. And looking across the spectrum, you can see that everybody has what it takes to consolidate the gains of the party, and Vice President Bawumia is one of them. I don't think there's any NPP member who will say, I won't vote for NPP because Bawumia has won, because Bawumia has offended me. And then they were a very humble person, he doesn't offend anybody. Then two, which of the candidates has what it takes to bring in new votes? Because if you don't get the new votes, there's no way.
When you say new votes, you mean people who otherwise wouldn't have voted for you?
Exactly, who otherwise wouldn't have voted for you. You're talking about people who are within the floating voters basket, people who are also supporters of other political parties, but for some reason or the other, we say, oh, for this candidate that the MPP has elected, let me also try my hand and say that I will vote for this person. And if we look at Bawumia, he has what it takes to bring in such votes. First and foremost, he comes from a background that originally we say are not the background of the NPP, you understand, because we all know political parties have strongholds. The NDC has their stronghold, the NPP we have our stronghold. And if you look at where Bawumia is coming from, the ethnicity he belongs to, the background he comes from, he represents a certain class of classification, let me put it that way, that people will say minority tribe, or people who are classified as minorities. Given the opportunity, everybody wants to see or identify with who is the leader of a political party. And he has what it takes to let people who feel excluded from the politics of MPP say that, oh, for the first time, this party has taken a decision that reflects our thinking, our aspirations, and our being as individuals. And therefore, we are all embraced in the NPP. And so a candidate, Bawumia, or a vote for Bawumia will bring that kind of inclusiveness, you know, in the NPP. Will let a lot of people see that the NPP is an all-embracing party. It's an inclusive party. I mean, if you look at religion and all of that. So that aspect is there. And then also, if you look at him, we are in the era of ideas. A lot of people, young people, are not just interested in political leaders. They want to see leaders who can come up with ideas that can change society, ideas that can cause them to be develop, ideas that can also get them jobs and all of that. In today's modern world, in Ghana, if you want to take one politician who has over the years demonstrated that he has, you know, a lot of ideas to bring to bear on the political radar, you wouldn't take Bawumia out of the equation. If today NPP can boast of so many achievements, and NPP communicators can go on radio and say, we have done this, we have done this, we have done that. A lot of the issues we talk about that we've been able to do can be traced to the handiworks of Bawumia. And that is what people want. People want leaders who can come up with ideas, workable ones, to deal and address issues and solve problems. We're not just interested in political leaders who will come and give us platitudes and stand on political platforms and talk and be bereft of ideas. So Bawumia also comes across that way. And I see him that a lot of young people have that confidence and trust in him because he's demonstrated that he's been able to show that also for many, many reasons. So these are, I mean, the issues that he's communicating to the party people. But you can see that for the MPP party people, they are so much charged that Bawumia stands a chance to beat Mahama, you know, in the 2024 elections. And so they want to see who can best beat Mahama. That's what Bawumia says. He has a winner.
Why does Bawumia say that? Why does he say that he's the best placed person to beat?
Because he's done it before. And
beating him before?
You know, MPP, our stronghold is in the south. The NDC stronghold part in the South Volta region and then the northern region. And Bawumia over time has shown that he's able to overcome the NDC and the effect of Mahama in the north. You understand? So we, the MPP, waiting that rain or shine, we will be able to consolidate our gains in the south. Just at the NDC thing, they'll be able to consolidate their gains in the Volta region. How about the north? So if you take the statistics about, as Bawumia puts it, when MPP had 4 seats out of the 31 in the then northern region, NDC had 27. Today, their number has reduced to 15. NPP's own has increased to 16. And you wouldn't say it is Bawumia who has done everything, but of course it's factor. It's something that you cannot take out.
Kennedy Japan also claimed it. He said he's done a lot of work in the northern region.
The most important work we want to see him do is central region. That's where he comes from. That's where his effect can be felt. You understand? We are losing central region. We lost Asinov or something when we went for the by-election. So that effect is not there. If you really want to convince us that you have political effect, okay, in any other jurisdiction, you must talk about your own jurisdiction before. What is the effect? Even in his own constituency. Okay, if you look at the votes that come from there, I don't think he crosses 60%. That is something people have not looked at. Yes, we win as they are in Central, yes, but we don't win with over 60%. Okay, so that I'm not here to discuss it, but you brought it up, that's why I'm putting it across. So you can see that in terms of impact, Bawumia has made so much impact in the north against the NPP and to the fortunes, against the NDC and to the fortunes of NPP. And that cannot be felt anywhere by any of the presidential candidates who are in the contest with Bawumia. So he has so much to offer to this party. He's done it in the past before. And for us, winning 2024 is so critical. Fine, you hear some party people who are disgruntled, their dreams have not been met. They worked so hard for the party in 92, 96, thereafter, in 2007 and all of that. But all that they were looking for in the party, they've not been able to realize that. But I say, the more the party stays in power, the more the chances you have to be able to get what you want or your dreams come true. I always take, for instance, President Kufuor's time. I've been a police station youth organizer, constituency communications officer, Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer. But I never had anything in President Kufuor's time. I was not called to any position. Okay, but we had to work harder. President Kufuor's government. And so the young people out there in the party who also supported President Kufuor or have contributed so much, but they've not seen what they wanted. The MPP is able to win power and stay in. Chances are that today Gideon will be here, he will not be there. Somebody also comes. So that's the hope and the confidence and the trust we need to have in the system. If we don't put that behind us and work to present a winnable candidate who can help us win the elections, you can be the general secretary of the party, but if it is in opposition, like President Kufuor said, you benefit not from anything. You may be as, quote unquote, useless as anything. A cleaner in a party in government may be more important than you. So we need to put whatever we're talking about into context and know that we need to present a candidate who can win the elections. A candidate that we can say that has what it takes to conduct himself in a manner that will not bring shame to the party, in a manner that will let people sitting back say that, look, this gentleman is truly a gentleman. He means business. He has the ideas. He has the strength and the commitment to execute the ideas. The ideas espoused by Bawumia in opposition are as relevant as he said them in opposition today. And given the right leadership, the commitment, and the resources, if Ghana is to execute these ideas that will take us out of poverty, ideas that will emancipate us economically. And so they are valid, potent ideas that, given the right framework, you'll be able to, execute them and get this country out of the economic difficulties that we find ourselves. So that is something that also inspires hope and gives confidence. And I think we need to drum home this very well and let people understand that in this modern age and era, we want leaders who have the ideas, who have the knowledge, the brain, and the commitment to also execute them. There are some politicians who just come into amass wealth. They don't have the nation at heart. They do anything haphazardly. But if you follow Bawumia's life from academia to the point he became a banker, and even in politics, see how he's conducted himself. The vice president that no issue of corruption can be associated with him. He is not seen as somebody who is in government greedily looking for opportunities and avenues to enrich himself. He offers so much and expects less to come to him personally. And that is the kind of leadership that Ghana wants, the kind of leadership that all of us can go to sleep and be very much assured that this our president, no matter what, he put his foot down for the country and make sure that he does what is right for Ghana. That is why he's doing what he's doing. All the innovative ideas he's brought. Look at when we had crisis, the currency issues were coming up, fuel prices were high. He thought outside the box, good for oil. Subsequently, we saw a reduction or a slowdown of the skyrocketing prices of fuel and the exchange rate depreciation, and a host of others that is done just to help this country. What do we want as a country? We're not just interested in fanciful politicians who are just giving them space of 1.5 years, even when they were presented as candidates and not a single idea has come from him. Ask yourself, ever since President Mahama was elected by the NDC as the flag bearer of the NDC, one policy that is announced, he's not interested in that. All that they were interested in is propaganda to rely on the failures of a certain government to come. But what are you bringing? What are you bringing to the table? You understand? So we shouldn't sit down for 1 or 2 errors, or let's say mistakes or shortcomings of a ruling party or a certain political party dictate how we want to run as a nation. The candidate that the party is presenting, we should be able to judge them. So for me, 2024 elections, more or less, should be a personality election. You need to diagnose the personalities of the candidates who have been presented by the political parties and see which one of them has the knowledge, has the commitment, and has that lifestyle, and personality to do what we want, young people of this country want. You want jobs, you want development, you want things that can help us run our everyday life. What are the things Bawumia has been doing? How have they been impacting our everyday lives? Got a digitization initiatives that is brought to bear. Today, lives have become so easy. People are able to do commerce on the internet. Mobile money is working, the interplay, the connectedness is helping everybody. Okay, young people are able to apply trade on the internet. They don't need offices. They don't need anything. Their office is their laptop. Okay, their car boot inside their car, and they are flourishing. Life is going on. So we need these kinds of, kind of leadership to lead the country, and that's, I think, where Bawumia is trying to take us to. Let us give
what's
him
the
opportunity.
estimated victory percentage? I heard Samia could talk about 70%.
I would like to deal with empirical stuff, but it's elections. I know there's going to be a resounding victory for Bawumia, but I wouldn't be the one to put a figure to it. But I know, like Samia could say, it's not getting less than 70%, and that is very conservative. I know for sure that Vice President Bawumia will never get less than 70%. If anything, we should look within the range of 75 to 80% on Saturday.
Okay. You have text messages coming. Mikhail, they're ready to read the one I sent to you. Can I have one each from you, Fatih? And yes, Fatih first.
Okay, so wisdom says we are tired of theories. We want a pragmatic leader. Coming from Jim, Legacy says NDC's fear will come to pass this Saturday. They are not sleeping now, trying hard to find a message to damage Bawumia, but with God, their evil intentions will never work. Antoinette.
Kennedy Frimpong wants to ask, he said, Paul, can you ask Dr. Bako if the Vice President ever visited Asante Achim North, and which town did he visit? G.H. Redred says, Finance Minister in waiting, he's speaking wisdom. DMB is the man we can entrust NPP and Ghana to. Congratulations in advance to His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ahead of the Saturday 4th November 2023 elections. And lastly, Ajeman Premper says Bawumia is humble and now the city has depreciated and the economy is in shambles. I think Gideon is just doing the damage control for him. Angelo.
Right, we've got this reflection from Kofi Benz on Hugos. It's a bit long, so I'll go through it briefly. Mahmoud, my brother, good luck in the coming primary. Years ago, I assessed the field, and before anyone did, I boldly declared that of them all, you were the best. I promised to watch closely and said I would change my mind if you changed or other facts came up. I'm glad to say, across the years, you have proven that my trust was not misplaced. You have conducted a most dignified campaign whilst under fire. You managed all manner of attacks on your person and even your wife, my own Samira, with the needed restraint and decorum. Your biggest baggage has been the performance of the team you're part of. Even those of us outside who helped bring this team into power have received our criticisms, so you can't escape that. I've always told the critics that I have no regrets for fighting hard for the best team at the time to take over. If they failed, that was their failure. I will do it all over again and will push for the best team each time. I've said many times that your refusal to condemn your own team was a positive mark of teamsmanship. You showed loyalty to the team. Regardless of what happened, you did not go out denigrating your own team even when they failed. You stood and took responsibility. Of course, I know how much has gone wrong, but I also know who to blame. What's important is that you had your successes in the midst of the problems, and you did not do the easy thing of jumping out and accusing others. You stood with the team. Everyone would like a team player like you. And we know the limitations you had in the team and why your best efforts did not materialize entirely. Take heart, because some of the best programs and successes of this team have your name on it. And those who know understand that some of the failures were not your doing. In any case, if you had denigrated your own team, I would have criticized you for that. It is not the mark of an honorable person to do that. So kudos for standing with the team even through hard times. Now your time draws nigh. You have come across the period from when I stated my endorsement publicly and have proven me right. Thank you for not letting me down. Whether you win or not, I know you're the best choice. Everything I checked makes you the best of the lot for the present contest. When you face the NDC, it will also become clear that you are a better choice compared to the very fine gentleman, John Mahama. I'm glad Ghana has two fine gentlemen to choose from, but as I've said, comparing your relative track records against your roles and the opportunities you've had and what you have to show for them, it is clear that you are the better choice. Time has proven that my confidence in you is not misplaced. I'm assured that the future will vindicate me when you win and reset this republic and provide the effective leadership we deserve as a nation. Good luck, my brother. This is from Kofi Bento.
Very deep, well written. Okay, Gideon, what are your last words? Where are you voting, by the way?
I'm going to Ahafo tomorrow morning.
Okay.
That's my base.
So you are voting for Dr. Bawumia?
I'm not a delegate. You know.
You're not a delegate?
I don't vote.
As what are you going to do in your constituency?
I'm not part of the delegates in this
election.
election.
You're going to observe and
I'm
do
going to observe.
Work. So
I'm going back to my constituency and to the region to do a lot of, politics is all about canvassing until the ballots are counted.
So what's the process? How is it going? So every constituency or polling station?
Every constituency is
center.
so my constituency is Tananoff constituency.
So 275 centers across the country.
And Tananoff is going to vote massively for Dr. Bawumia. There's no doubt about that.
We'll wait to see.
We're going to vote massively for Dr. Bawumia.
So when the results come, journalists will be able to say whether somebody won every constituency.
Yeah.
So
I really want to thank my people in Tananoff constituency for the good work they are doing for Dr. Bawumia, headed by the constituency chairman, Chairman Kakari, the MC, the executives, and I know other friends like Honorable Kusidia, Ose Kojo, and the rest are all joining us. We are happy with the support, Emilia and everyone, Dr. Malfo. I know at the end of the day, we will deliver Tananoff and Ahafo for Dr. Bawumia, the vibrant young guys in the constituency.
Okay, viewers, we'll catch up with you again on Saturday. It's going to be a busy weekend for us. I'm not sure where we'll be, but we'll catch up with you Saturday. We'll meet again here tomorrow and settle on our responsibilities and roles. That's not for you, viewers. You are not. We just come to work tomorrow just to settle on our rules for Saturday. See you on Saturday. I don't go to places where they are voting. If you are not voting, don't go and make any noise there. Please. Stay at home and listen to radio, watch our Facebook page, watch television, and you get all the information. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Good night.